It feels almost like some robot has taken over, ordering takeout or reaching for snacks while standing in the pantry again, eating something you didn't even want in front of the TV. It's not right. You don't want it. You're not even hungry. Here's the thing. It's not because you're weak. It's not because you don't know better. It's not because you don't have the right plan. It's not because you don't have the right prescription, right, of what to eat. That's not the reason. It's because you're done. Right? You're emotionally, mentally done. And so I've had so many conversations with women who say, I just don't trust myself around food, or I must not know what's healthy because I keep making the wrong choices. I must need a plan. I must need a prescription of what to eat. It must be me, right? I must be my own. I just can't, I don't have control. I'm just not the kind of person that, the food is too powerful. But here's the thing, decision fatigue is not about food. It's not even about your capability. It's about capacity. You do know how to nourish yourself. You do know what foods leave you feeling happier, better, more vibrant. But at the end of the day, when your brain has made hundreds, maybe even thousands of other decisions, micro decisions, it physiologically does not have the energy left to even care about what's best, right? It wants fast. It wants easy. What gives relief? And that's not a character flaw. That's biology. So if you're constantly saying, why can't I make better choices? I want you to reframe it as, how can I make fewer decisions in my day? How can I create better boundaries with my energy so that I'm not processing and filtering a bazillion things that isn't my responsibility to do, right? Like, why am I like, I love the phrase, not my circus, not my monkeys. I say it all the time, right? Something comes into my energetic sphere and I'm going to be like, yeah, no, not my circus, not my monkeys, right? It's like, I don't use my processing power for that, because the issue isn't your willpower when it comes to this. It's the weight of all the choices that you're taking on, that you're trying to carry alone. So, how do we reduce decision fatigue around food without more rules? Okay, without more rules, because let's be clear, this isn't about food itself, and this isn't about adding more restriction or rigidity. This is about emotional support, right? It's about structural lifestyle support. And it's about creating that support and plugging into that support before you hit the wall. So actually, what you need isn't a prescription or something to follow. What you need is to grow the ability to forward think so that you're prepared. So here's what that might look like, right? A simple rotation of go-to easy meals that you have, right? Stocking your kitchen with foods that feel good in your body and require minimal thought, right? Having default options for nights when cooking is not happening, right? So it's so funny because people are always asking me for fun recipes, and because they're so busy and they have no time. And I'm like, why would you want a recipe for that? Right? Like, why do you even want to follow any kind of recipe? What you really want is a rotation of go-to meals. You just want like someone to tell you what to put in a bowl, what to put in a, so you don't have to think about what vegetables or what this. You don't want a recipe. You don't want to be measuring stuff, right? That's annoying. We don't have time for that. That creates more thinking. Okay, so if you have a simple rotation of go-to meals, you stock your kitchen with your food preferences, your what I like to call safe foods. Having default options for nights when cooking is not just happening. I happen to have in my mentorship, I have a tool called the sober eating meal guide and template. And this is actually something that you get access to when you're in the reprogramming phase of my mentorship. And it is an entire spreadsheet and an entire toolkit of exactly this: a simple rotation of go-to meals, not a rigid meal plan, just a loose rhythm, right? Like a loose rhythm, but it gives you multiple options to plug in for different types of meals so that you're not having the same meal again, right? That's the problem with a recipe or meal plans. It's like you just have to follow those specific things. But my meal guide and template actually gives you multiple options for different sections of the meal so that you can eat the same type of meal, but it feels fresh every time. Okay. So this is something that I think is super, super important because this meal guide and template and this instruction that I'm giving you, it's not a rule, it's an anchor. It's an anchor. You're not trying to control yourself or follow, again, a guide with no flexibility, right? You're not trying to add more things you have to do. You're trying to lighten the load for your future self. And that's not lazy. That's wise. That's not lazy. That's wise.